everyone, I'm Jen. I am one of the outreach and in-house instructors here at the Community Art Center. Today I have a project for our grown-up artists. So adults, this could work for high schoolers too. I would suggest patient high schoolers or students that really enjoy more intricate projects because this one could be a little bit tedious, but it's pretty fun, and I think it's a great one for Christmas. We are making yarn ornaments. They're word ornaments, so it can be any word that you like. I like Christmas themed ones since it's a Christmas ornament. I also had an idea when I was making these, so this one just says Mom. If you made one with a name, you could put it on a gift as a gift tag for Christmas. Every year for Christmas, I like to have something unique and something different for all my presents. So this could be something fun that you do for people in your family or your friends, or you could hang them on the tree. For this project, you only need a few things. It's pretty simple. Cardboard. This piece of cardboard I literally just cut out of a box that I had gotten in the mail. So a piece of cardboard, some yarn. It can be whatever color you want. A pen or pencil, scissors, and a glue gun. So probably items that you already have around your house. Pretty simple to make. So the first thing we're going to do is draw out our word on the piece of cardboard, or your name, whatever you'd like. The smaller you make it, the more difficult it's going to be to put the yarn on it. So I would suggest making it a little bit bigger on your piece instead of really tiny. So for this one, I'll make another one that says joy, because I like that one. And I like the words that are a little bit smaller, so there's more balance on it. If it's a long word, it might get kind of floppy. And if you have trouble making letters and outline just like this right off the bat, you can just write the word. Write the word and then outline it. That's the easiest way to do it. And of course, it doesn't have to be script writing like this. It could be like this one I did just capital letters. You could do all lowercase letters. You can do whatever you'd like. And this will be completely covered with yarn in the end. So it doesn't really matter how many lines you make, or if you mess up, you don't need to erase it or get rid of it. You can just draw right over it. Okay, so here's my word. And then you're going to go ahead and cut it out. This is my least favorite part. If you've ever cut cardboard before, you know it can be a little difficult to do. Keep in mind, so if you're trying to cut it out exactly like that, you can just take pieces off. When I do this, that's how I start right away. So I go along the top, cut off all of this, maybe cut along the Y to make it easier. And then I can do this side of the Y. Cut that off. That way you have a smaller piece to work with instead of all of that extra cardboard that's kind of getting in the way. And since we're going to be covering this with yarn, it also doesn't matter if it gets kind of squished or if you snip a little bit too far. If you've worked with cardboard before, sometimes it's really hard not to bend the edges. But with this, it's not super important that you do that. It's okay if it gets bent a little bit. inside of your letters that have spaces on them, like the J or the O. If you do an E or an A, you'll have an even smaller space. So for that, you can either take your scissors and kind of poke a hole and then cut that way, or what I think the easiest way is, and since we don't really care too much if it gets bent, is just bend it in half. Like if you're making a paper heart or something, and cut. That way you have a bigger space to put your scissors in. And again, if you cut a little bit too far, it's fine. You can fix it with tape, or I just let mine go because I'll cover it up in the end. This could be really fun if you wanted to make the names of your family for on the tree. It could be something unique or something different this year for Christmas. This is probably the most tedious part, so maybe you could help your kids or your other family members cut it out if you have younger kids that want to help, and then they could do some of the yarn wrapping or picking colors or hanging it up on the tree. Especially right now, since we are still social distancing and we have hybrid schedules. Some of us are working from home, kids are home. You might be looking for some projects to do together. Christmas coming up. Okay, so keep going with that. You would cut out the whole thing. Let me get this out of the way. I have one already done. For this one, I did my name. If I wanted to give myself a present, I could put this on it. Go ahead and get your yarn. The first thing I did, and it took me a little while to figure this out, but it will save a lot of, it'll save your patience a little bit to start out this way. I put glue on the back of the corner, and then stick it down. Otherwise, your yarn kind of keeps pulling out. I tried tape and it doesn't hold, so this is the easiest thing to do. Then, I flipped it over, and along the edges, I put a little bit there. Again, because if you put the yarn on the edge with no glue, it'll just kind of slip right off. So that holds the beginning in place. And then, we can go ahead and start wrapping it. You can also use the glue for any spot that's being kind of difficult or won't stay in place. Just kind of keep it where you want it. That is helpful in the corners, like you'll see in a minute. Keep sliding mine down so that there's not gaps in it. Now you could cut your yarn into strands or pieces if that's easier for you. Once you get to the center, you'll probably have to, but as much as possible, I like to keep just one piece of yarn because it's kind of annoying to have to start new pieces. Okay, so for this, I go across a couple of times because it's hard to fill in this diagonal kind of space because you're going to go this way for this and that way for this part, so that little corner might get missed. Just kind of wrap it until it fills up a little bit, and then again I'm going to put some glue on the top of this so that it doesn't slide off the top. If you are having your family, your kids help you with this, be sure to give them a hand with this part because the glue is hot. They might need some assistance so that they don't burn themselves. Okay, so for this, to get inside of it, of the circle, I need a strand. So I'll go ahead and cut it. through. You also want to keep in mind when you're cutting this that the smaller the spaces in your letters, so if you make really tiny letters and your yarn is kind of thick, you might fill up that whole space, which is going to make it harder to read. So I would make sure that you keep spaces plenty big enough for your yarn. If it does get small, just use a thinner yarn. Some of my yarn is fluffier than others, so I would use a thinner one. Once you get started, it goes pretty quickly. And this part is pretty easy. But as you can imagine, if this was a word that had more than 3 letters, drawing it and cutting it out might take some time. If you have an X-Acto knife and you're handy with it, you might be able to cut some of the insides of the letters out that way. I would definitely not let your children do that, but if you are able to do that, I'm not very savvy with an X-Acto knife. I usually go kind of all over the place when I'm not supposed to, so I just stick with scissors. Okay, I'm almost done with the J. Then, once I finish this, I will show you. I didn't want any spaces in mine at all, and for the most part this can fill in. You shouldn't really have any spaces, but I'm kind of a perfectionist about such things. So when I was done, I went back through and looked for any gaps in the yarn, any spaces that you could see the cardboard through. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this down so I can end this piece. Make sure that your glue's on the back this time so that you don't see it. Okay. So I have a few spaces like right in here. That little spot that I said you wouldn't be able to go across because this is where your letter is, so there's going to be kind of a gap there. So what I did is I cut little tiny pieces of yarn and then put some glue in the space. Try to make sure you don't get it on your yarn because you won't be able to see it, just in the space, and kind of press it down like that. And then you can cut off any extra. Because mine's coming up. And then you fill it in, and you can't really tell that there was a space there. And then just start it again. Go ahead and put glue on the back. And start wrapping again. E is kind of tight here. I kind of wish I made it bigger, but it'll still work. I would imagine this could work with some simple pictures. You could think some outlines for some shapes, like maybe the outline of a heart would work. And that might be a simpler one. letters to help with, or if you don't have the patience to cut out small letters. It up. This is one of those spots where the yarn kind of is just doing whatever it wants, which is not what I want. So just put glue on the back, and I can force it to stay where I want it. Getting really tight in here. If you sew or you crochet or you do anything with yarn, you might have a needle that you can fit in the smaller spaces that can help you out a little bit. And you would keep going like that. As you can see, the spot in my E is getting pretty tight, so I should have made it a little bit bigger, but it'll still work. Especially if this is a name tag. If I was making it for someone else whose name was Jen, they'll probably be able to figure out what it says. Okay, I'll go ahead and start from the other end. It's getting kind of tight. So attach it there. Put it on the edge. These letters go a lot faster. You can see I'm wrapping the end pretty quickly. And it's similar to the J. Once you get to the top of it, there's that space that doesn't really fit in either way. So I jump to the top, and then when you're done, you can go back and fix it. Okay, then you just keep going until you fill the whole thing in. You could put some yarn on the top of it, or a hook if you're putting it on the Christmas tree. If you're putting it on gifts, you can probably just tape it down, or if you can think of some creative idea with ribbon, you can make a bow with it. There's a lot of fun ideas that you could do with this. So let us know if you tried it, if you had any other creative ideas. Go ahead and put your pictures of what you did, or any comments or thoughts down in the comments for us to see your projects and read your ideas. Also, I want to remind you that we encourage you to stay safe and to social distance, to wear your mask and wash your hands. I do have my mask. I was able to take it off because we are social distanced in this room. My videographer is sitting far enough back, but we do want you to stay safe. So thank you for watching, thank you for joining us, and thank you for helping us keep the arts alive.